Hey everyone, my name's Daniel and I'm one of the trainers here at Tempest, and welcome to our first installment of Tempest Learn. Tempest Learn is our educational platform where we'll be delivering a wide range of content on all things health and fitness, and today I'll be talking about the basics of pillar development. Okay guys, so first thing, what is the pillar? Okay, the pillar starts with your core but also includes the muscles that stabilize your shoulders as well as your hips, like the glutes, which we all know of. And that's important because in order for us to create dynamic and powerful movements with our arms and legs, we need a strong, stable base of support, and that's what the pillar is. So why is that important? One of the major components of quality movement is stability. Okay, movement without stability is going to lead to compensations throughout the body, dysfunctions, and eventually pain and injury. And an easy way to think about this is think of a car with flat tires. The wheels are still going to spin, you're still going to move forward, but you're going to be wasting fuel, and eventually the car might crash. So just like the human body, if you're moving inefficiently, you're going to be wasting energy and you might injure yourself. One case of stability dysfunction is in people who develop knee pain as a result of hip instability due to their inactive glutes. Another example of how stability affects human performance is in the case of a rugby player making a tackle. When a rugby player makes that tackle, they need a strong, stable base of support. That's your pillar, to make an explosive and powerful tackle and also absorb the high impact from that tackle. So those are just two examples of how stability impacts human performance and injury prevention. So the first exercise we're going to demonstrate is a glute bridge. It's a great exercise to develop your glutes. Okay, with the glutes, which are your butt muscles, you've got three of them: your maximus, your medius, and your minimus, and they all do slightly different movements at the hip. Okay, the maximus does hip extension, medius does abduction, and minimus does rotation at the hip. Okay, so the glute bridge, we're going to use a mini band to try and basically target all three muscles and all three movements. So first thing I'm going to do is to get Marshall just to lie down on the ground. He's going to place that mini band just around his knees. If you don't have a mini band, you can also use a resistance band. Just double it up, and if you want to increase the resistance, you can loop it through, twist it. So what Marshall's going to do is lie flat on the ground, wants to bend his knees as much as possible so his hamstrings are shortened and not involved in the movement. Then from there, just wants to brace his core, so basically trying to push his stomach out, his sides out, and his lower back down into the ground. He's going to resist the mini band, so push his knees out, and then he's going to bring his hips up, driving his heels down, and really focusing on squeezing his glutes as hard as he can. Okay, and come back down. Now, if you've not really used your glutes before, it might take a couple times for you to actually feel it in your glutes. You might start feeling it in your quads, your hamstrings, elsewhere, okay? But just basically practice makes perfect, okay? So the more you do it, the better you get at it. So that's a glute bridge, pretty simple. So the second exercise is a kickback. So I'm gonna get Marshall here to go in a quadruped position on his hands and knees. So important thing in the quadruped position is to make sure you're stabilizing the whole pillar, okay? So first exercise, we were just looking at the glutes. Now we're looking at the whole pillar. So from the neck, the shoulder blades, your core, and the hips. So first thing, just make sure he's pulling his neck back in a nice neutral position. Then I want him to push his shoulders forward. So those shoulders are really protracted forward. The lower back is nice and flat, so he's engaging his core. And then from here, I'm just gonna get him to kick 1 foot back, leading with the heel. As he does that, making sure he's not arching his lower back too much and tensing that glute on that side. And he's just gonna alternate sides with every rep. And the whole key to this exercise is just to stabilize his pillar as much as possible whilst his leg is moving. Okay, this is a really great exercise to start off with, and you can progress it a lot further, which I will touch on in further videos. So here are some common issues that we see with the kickback. Marshall just kicked back. As you can see there, Marshall's really extending through his lumbar spine, his lower back, his shoulder blades aren't stable, and his neck is really pushing forward, okay? And that's what we don't want. That's a very unstable pillar. So the third and final exercise is a plank. Really, really common exercise, but most of the time done very, very wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna get Marshall just to go in a plank position on his toes and elbows. Good, so you'll notice a couple things. Just keeping his hands together, and when you do that, it's important to really squeeze the hands together to create tension through the upper body, as well as, again, on all fours, driving the shoulders forward. So his shoulders are stable, his lower back is nice and flat. He's tensing the glutes as well as tensing the quads. Okay, and that's just to create tension through the whole body, creating a lot of stability throughout the whole pillar. So to summarize, the pillar is our whole trunk from our neck to our shoulders, our core, and our hips. So it's important to develop the pillar for injury prevention and to optimize performance. Okay, so those 3 exercises, the glute bridge, kickback, and plank, are a real good starting point. So in future videos, I'm going to show you further progressions on those 3 exercises so you can continue developing your pillar.